the Max Planck Institute.
That's correct, sir.
Should I have more respect for Bavarian Bob because he is an alumni? For my German young man, well, not so young now, but should I have more respect for him because of the Max Planck Institute? Should I respect him more because he's an alumni?
Well, the Max Planck Institute is like the Institute Pasteur in French-speaking countries, right? And it's a top research.
Okay.
He did work there.
Yeah, he did work. Yes, he did. He's a.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. Bob, I don't give a shit about your math anyway. Anyway, you're still Bavarian Bob to me. Anyway. Okay. We're going to go through a couple of slides, and then we're going to do what's the next homework? Another one that you wrote last night.
Seeking approval.
Okay. 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 Oh.
You said collective.
Okay, that was the collective phobia one.
We can do it all.
Okay, well, you're going to have to do it off the top of your head, which is going to be a problem for you, I understand. But we're going to struggle through it somehow. Okay, now, before Jack Welch in his infinite wisdom said that there is no work-life balance, there are work-life choices, and they have consequences, before he said that, this was my answer to work-life balance, dating back from 1993. Now, for those you quack researchers, and I'm looking at you, pretend Chinaman, I'm looking at you, who tried to slip through not being Asian, that's all right. This was my answer. And the only man that 500 Napoleon Hill interviewed to have almost total peace of mind were three guys. Three. 500. Now, 3 out of 500 is a very small fraction, right? Small fraction. Was Burroughs, John Burroughs, Tom Edison, and Carnegie himself until he became obsessed with giving all his money away. Okay, now this was, 100 years ago, kind of, more or less. And I equate total peace of mind with balance. And maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, but that's the closest I could get for government work when I started the seminar in 1993, before Jack and a lot of other people talked about work-life balance. And the operative part of this example is that there isn't any. Or as they say in Scotland, there isn't any. Because as we've learned, or we're going to learn even more ad nauseum, that means till you're sick to your stomach, is that these guys and gals are obsessed. Okay, they're either obsessed in a bad way, like Adolf Hitler, who wrote Mein Kampf, which I have also read, so I have read stuff, to current day obsessions with Mr. Zuckerberg, who wants to change the world by connecting people, etc. They're obsessed. It's their passion. When they wake up in the morning, that's what they think of until they go to bed at night. The guys and the gals that are to come closest to total obsession, nobody gets totally obsessed, but to come closest to total obsession are the big successes in QLA and have been big successes in the business world of entrepreneurism, etc., like Steve Jobs, Gates, the guys that I continue to talk about. What keeps us from that obsession, even if we have that obsession? This. This is one of my favorite slides. This is Sally's favorite slide. My lovely wife who sat through the seminar last seminar. No. Now, there you are. Rufus Doofus yourself. Okay? Doc, you know, the Chinese are trying to pretend not to be Chinese. The blacks that aren't black. Whatever you are. And there you are. Kind of looks like some of the people in the audience, doesn't it? Okay? You got your relatives. Now, I didn't make this slide. One of you sent it to me. You got your relatives to get by first. They're the most formidable. They're the toughest. And those are the ones you're going to have to do battle with when you get home. Okay? Then you got just regular friends, if you want to call them that. My definition of as a friend is somebody that wants the best for you, even if they don't understand. That's not your friends. Then you got your just regular fucking guilt. that you're ridden with from your parents, shitbags that they are. Then you got just society in general, fucked up. Look at where we are today, 2017, okay? Then we got fear, which we know is false expectations appearing real, or we should know. And then we got goals that we reach or don't reach. And that is what you're up against leaving here. First are your relatives. God love them. Allah love them. Buddha love them. And then your friends, then just general guilt, society, and then you're feared. You're afraid. You're afraid of making a mistake. And this is what you'll relate to me. See, I would think that when I list in your weekly report what scared you, you ought to be able to put a lot of shit down. But you put, nah, nothing. I'm cool. I'm cool. Nothing scared me. Which isn't true. If you can't pick up the phone, there's a reason. Especially since you have the templates, the scripts, and you've got everything. The only thing, and I've asked this, you'd like me to dial the phone for you. Can you get past the first gatekeeper, Mr. Peña? I'm going to show you how to do that. Can you get past the second gatekeeper, Mr. Peña? I'm going to show you how to do that. In some of the big hitters, as my Japanese mentees would say, big fucking hitter, got big fucking hitter this week. Have 3 gatekeepers. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. But you got to pick up the motherfucker. Now some of you don't pick up. You have a thing in your ear, you know, thing in your ear. When I used to run a boiler room back in the 70s, they call them call centers now. But back in my day, they were boiler rooms. I'd have 200 guys out there and gals, and I used to sit up on a desk, elevated from about this high off the ground, and I used to, masking tape, that gray masking tape that you can fix shit with, masking tape. I used to ask them, what hand do you wipe your ass with? And they tell me. Then I'd tape that hand, the phone to it. Tape it. And if I didn't see that motherfucker glistening from the lights, I was on him like stink on shit. Like a Marvel movies. Superhero. Why aren't you making a call, moron? We were closing motherfuckers. We were closing motherfuckers. I didn't ask if we made any sales today. How many motherfucking sales did we make? Because I only knew closing 94.6%. And I cried about the 5.4% the fuckers that got away. And they had a big board with my records on for the guys, the mooches in the boiler room. You used to have to ask permission to go to the toilet. Permission. And the reason why did I wrap it around the hand they wiped their ass with? Because you could disconnect the phone and sneak off. I know how to sell. Believe me. I know how to close. I'm a closing motherfucker. I don't know anything but close. It's about expectations, and my expectations are high. And at the bottom of your weekly report, you're going to have the world's records for every fucking thing you do for the next 12 months. You get tired of looking at that goddamn thing. How in the fuck did that asshole do that in 20 days? Is you're going to ask, you won't tell him, you're not sharing anything. You're not telling they used to call him the old lady that you haven't kicked to the curb yet. That's your wife. See, you haven't kicked it. So you're not going to ask the old lady because you're going to say, Jesus Christ, I must be a real cunt like Peña says. Here I'm on the 17th day and this fucking asshole did it in 20 days. I must be a worthless piece of shit. I think a stiff drink and a good fuck would kill me. Now, some of you guys are going to put in your report, well, I don't drink, Mr. Peña. You know what I'm going to say? You probably don't fuck either.
What did you say? I don't.
Maybe you're going to say to me in your report, I don't drink, Mr. Peña. So, a stiff drink and a good fuck could kill most of the snake flies. So your excuse already is, I don't drink. So I don't have to be a good fuck. You got a reason for everything. And we got the Google fuckers here. They know, I mean, shit. I am happy you gave me that information, though. Okay? But don't Google anymore. That's enough. Okay, because I've asked a lot of guys and nobody, okay, and I don't, you know, and I'm not going to go search. I don't give a shit that much, but I am happy you gave it to me. Okay. I did learn something from one of the kids. It's rare, but it does happen. So hope does spring eternal. Hope does spring eternal. Okay, but, I mean, does anybody, no, I'm not going to ask you if you can relate to this because I know you can. I know you can. You've never probably thought of it this way. You have because you've seen this slide before. But it's out there. I mean, you're going to think, you know, back in the day, they used to have these Bruce Lee movies when he kung fu, you know, and he, etc. And you're going to think that you're a samurai kung fu. I mean, these guys, they're going to be coming at you left, right, and center. So a lot of the guys hang this. They do it at a, what do you call it when it's on your computer page? That, you know, it's, yeah, on the front of your, yeah. Some just put it on the walls, as I showed you how some of the guys. But it's, you know, it's tough. And some of you, it's the relatives more than, you know, than your friends. But your friends and your relatives will gladly keep you in the crab pot. In other words, when you try to get out, the crabs pull you down. That's why when I say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And right now, we don't, a long time ago, we used to, you know, as copious as are all those questions for the seminar before you get here, we used to ask you to list, you know, your 5 closest friends, but I mean, then it got to be like War and Peace, and there was a fucking Freudian paper. I mean, so it got too confusing, so we stopped that. But everybody in this room has got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people that they see more often that you know how they're going to relate, or they've already related to you. Are you crazy going there? Why are you doing this? Why are you spending the money? You know, especially for those of you that have some modicum amount of success, why would you want to change? Why would you want to change? What they're really saying is, why would you want to change our relationship? They're not worried about you, really. They're worried about how you relate to them. That's how they really are concerned. How you relate to them. How you relate to them. Okay. One of the exercises off the top of your head, and you're right. I made a mistake. I collected everybody. What's one of the other homeworks?
It was if I shifted from approval addiction to...
Okay. If you shifted from approval addiction, being addicted to wanting people's approval, wanting people to like you, to what? Preference. Your preference. Okay. Speak up.
100%.
100% what?
I would change it.
Okay, but I mean, okay. What would it change in your lives? Yes, sir.
It starts to do, because I get a lot of traction online with videos and stuff, I do more ballsy videos, which would gain more following. When Jason Capital came here a year and a half ago, whatever, young kid, smart kid. He was in if I remember correctly, he was in the president's, the top guys under 20 and 30 and 100. I mean, he's been a high-performance guy most of his life. And then he got into that business, and which to me is his business is a metaphor how you can meet women and get fucked. That's, to me, that's not what he calls it, but that's the essence of his business. And I did a talk for him about the day before I was on the Joe Rogan show, actually, when I was in Los Angeles in March. And he had 80 of his premier guys or something. And and if that's what you want to do, in his particular case, I show him how to tweak the model and raise the benchmark is what he needed to do. All of you guys that have e-commerce type businesses are based on e-commerce for revenue. It's very simple. You have to raise the benchmark. You have to raise the ability for people to do business with you.
and you're worried about losing business, but you don't. You gain business.
What do you mean raise the benchmark?
Okay, in other words, let's just say the guys had to make 50 grand a year. I'm just using that. Nobody does this. Okay, to be part of my following, you got to make 50. You got to prove to me you got to make 50 grand a year.
Be more selective.
Correct. Okay, now you got to make 100 grand a year. Oh, fuck, all my people will leave. I won't sell anything. No, you'll have a sense of exclusivity now. That's why Savile Row, the bespoke suit guys in London are so fucking famous. Because they're expensive, one. I'm not saying that they're worth the money they spent or I spent, but their clientele, the people that go there are, royalty. Rock stars, even though they may not make suits like I wear, they make, very high quality bespoke suits. And I explained to you the difference between a bespoke suit and a handmade suit. They do. They've got, Michael Caine, the actor, and Sean Connery, the actor, and George V, the king from before, the current Duke of Edinburgh. Plus, all kinds of royalty across Europe. And they raised the benchmark. And that's why the rents in some of these places, these retail establishments, are so bloody expensive. And the people that are renting in the space, if they're smart, they made a deal based on part of their revenue, gross revenue, in addition to their rent. So if you raise the benchmark, you raise the expectations. It's another way of saying you're raising the expectations. And people want to deal with a sense of exclusivity. They just do. And that's why when I tell you, you only have one time to make a first impression. You only have one time to make a first impression. And I remember during the interview with Jason, he mentioned, I teased him the way he dressed before, and now he wears Ford suits. Tom Ford, is that his name?
Yeah.
Which, for when you're young and thin, and that's the kind of suits you wear. I got some new slacks recently. And the pant legs are tight. They're fucking barely over my calves, and they're actually too. I had to get a size bigger for my thighs. They're too tight. Not too. I'm not used to how that. And I'm telling Sally, are you sure this is? And of course, the guy that's selling the shit is, it's perfect. It looks terrific, and it's the old story about a tailor. Yeah, it fits perfect. And he said, this is the new age. I said, I'm not a new age guy. They call me Neanderthal, caveman. But anyway, so I bought, I think, 8 pair of slacks. And they feel, I'm kind of used to them now, but before, I used to put my shoes on and then my slacks. I can't put my shoes on and then my slacks now because I can't get the fucking shoe through the pant leg. These I can, but this other modern fandango that Sally drags me down, and Sally dresses me. I've said this a jillion times, okay? And during the hardcore seminar, when you don't have to wear suits, I wear, which I'm told, crazy blazers and slacks and vests and all kinds of shit and bow ties, and because I have a lot of clothes. They used to call me. You used to be a clothes hound. I don't know if when I was in Hollywood talking to the what's the difference between other than Steve Jobs and Zuckerberg that wear black shirts and slacks? What's the biggest thing one of the biggest things different than rich people? I says the clothes they wear. They're expensive. And I said, basically, I have about $1 million worth of suits. 200 suits times $10,000. And, they all look at me different. Okay, thanks, YouTube.